Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Iris. May the blood of Yahweh cover this video. Well, Iris, you finally get to see my weeping willow, and I finally got to take you down to the river. Now, the river is not as personable as yours, but here we go. But that is my baby. This is where I come to read and meditate, get away from the world. Okay, so there's the river. Okay, and there's the city of Detroit that you're looking at now. Okay, well, you remember the story that you gave about the gentleman that you were talking to? Well, I too was talking to a gentleman, and I think they're really different ends of each other. But we'll go over that after I explain this in email. But my testimony is that I met a gentleman when I first got here. This was last year, and I was coming here to read. I had my Bible in my hand, and I also had my Jesus hat on. And usually when I come down here with my Jesus hat, you'll see, people's expressions. They're all different sorts of expressions. Some nod their head, whatever, okay? So anyway, I'm locked and loaded. I'm going towards my weeping willow. And this gentleman, all of a sudden, stops, and we're looking at the river. And as we're looking at the river, he starts talking about the river being magic. It sounded to me like he was talking about witchcraft or some crap like that anyway. And he said that there was a woman that was standing beside him, and that when he went to turn to look at her, she was no longer there. And this was a woman telling him to go into the water, to jump into the water, and that nothing would happen to him. Well, like I said, this was not a conversation I'd rather get into, so I went more to the heavenly, realms of it, not so much on the mystic in the dark side. I pulled away from it. Okay. So it was the second day that I was here, and it was right here by the fountain that you're going to see here. And this is a peace fountain. This is what they call a peace fountain. Just going to pan a little bit. Okay. And it was right here when he said to me, well, first of all, he says, you look at people in the eyes when you talk to them, don't you? And I said, I guess so. And then he said, well, okay. And then he's taking his glasses off. And as he's taking his glasses off, I'm not kidding you. I mean, I literally was taken back by it. His eyes were white with a black pin in the middle of the eye. It was a little black pin dot, okay? But the rest was all white. Now, some would say, yeah, there were contact lenses, but at his age, in his 60s, balding, it looked like a teddy bear, really, but he was in his 60s, and it didn't suit his character of coming and trying to freak anybody out with any kind of funky eyes or anything, what would be the purpose? So no, I believe that they were very real. And the conversation about the water was intense, because he says, what do you think about the water, right? And I said, water is God, it's life, and then I thought it was very important that I mentioned that when Jesus was crucified, that not only blood came from him, but also water came from him. And then he looked at me, and he was telling me about these chariots. He puts his glasses back on, mind you, right? But then he starts talking about the chariot of fire. okay? Like it was fire. And he said, it was almost, he was asking me if it was for me to interpret this dream, but I didn't know anything about firing, uh, chariots or anything like that, so I shied away from that conversation. And then he looked at me and he said, I'm glad you don't wear red lipstick. You know, thinking, okay. Okay, so where was I? Anyway, the chariot and the fire and the lipstick, and I don't know what it was about. I really don't. I'm telling you, the eyes, they were not contacts. I don't believe that they were contact lenses. I don't, not from coming from this gentleman, not the way. No, I can't say that. So anyway, that's my little story down the river by the river. I'm just gonna show you a few little places here. Just walking back to the car. Okay. Now we have, they take these bushes and they make little animals out of them, little like baskets, birds, turtles. This nice little sitting area in here. There's one in here. Oh, here we got a little guy here. Yeah. Told you it's very mystical around here. And we got a frog and a turtle coming off the edge there. And like I said, these benches are in memory of certain people that have passed away. The dead. I think that was supposed to be a bird. Well, Iris, everybody, I'm gonna call it a day here. It's just morning at the river. Here's the big basket. A bird beside him. So tell me what you think about this gentleman with the white eyes with the black dot, and why he kept pushing forward the water, and why he was leaning towards magic and being mystical. Okay, I'm gonna sign out. No fear, be love, and give hope. Bye.